This is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We are looking at a 6-game Tuesday main slate. James, I'm here in Las Vegas for the Fantasy Sports and Gaming Conference. So not my usual setting, not my usual lighting, but that doesn't take away from my ability to here talk some hoops with you, man.
No, fun 6-game slate. Some really good teams on the docket. I believe just the Milwaukee Bucks and Minnesota Timberwolves are on a back-to-back. So a lot of fresh legs, possibly some teams like last game before the All-Star break, with the break starting on Friday. So should be a fun night of basketball. 4 players over 10K. A lot of players. Actually, not a lot of players over 9K either. Just 4 over 10, 4 over 9. So a lot of should be a lot of good values mid-tier place on this slate.
Yeah, slate starts at 7:30 here on this one, so a little bit later on the East Coast here. We do have the 10:30 late night hammer matchup between the Pistons and Lakers. Celtics Nets kick off things. Nets are getting 8.5 at home, a 230 total. Thunder Orlando also at 7:30. Magic getting 2.5 at home, 227 total there. Miami Milwaukee Bucks are giving 6.5 on that back-to-back, 228 total. Miami going to be without Jimmy Butler there for the next couple of games. Sacramento Phoenix giving 4.5 at home, 243.5 game total in that one. That should be fun. Minnesota Portland 215.5 total. Portland getting 8.5 at home. Detroit LA 237 total. The Lakers are giving 12. 3 games starting later, 10 p.m. or later on this 6-game slate.
I wonder if Sacramento has any PTSD after their last time facing Phoenix.
Yeah, when they gave up a 30-point lead in the fourth quarter or whatever it was.
Yeah, 22 points in 8 minutes was the lead, and then it wasn't anymore.
Some would say that's not good.
Not great, Bob. Not great.
Not how they drew that one up. So, again, we do have these 6 games into it. Let's waste no time getting into the slate. Top price point guard here, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, $10,300 on that road against Orlando. Devin Booker, $9,700. And like you said, not too many high price plays here for 6 games. Damian Lillard's 89. Anthony Simons, I think, is probable for this one. He is against Minnesota. He is 8,200. And De'Aaron Fox all the way down to 8K now. Again, I know the performances kind of represent the price dropping here. He does have a 43 fantasy point game, and they're showing what his ceiling could be. What is it with De'Aaron Fox lately? Where's the scoring going? And how are you feeling about these top 5 or so point guards?
So I think the OKC game is Lou Dort. Lou Dort was really good in that game on both ends of the ball. He struggled. Chalk that one up, move on. The Denver game had a really big game. They just blew Denver out, and he didn't get a fourth quarter, right? He would have gone for a 50-plus easy in this game. So, I think there's obvious merit to the price drop, but I also think that there's a massive ceiling. He has averaged 51 fantasy points, 30 actual points per game against Phoenix this year. So De'Aaron Fox at 8K is surely in play. I don't love SGA at 10-3. You can play him in whatever matchup you want. John, the Magic look really good, and their defense looks even better than it did earlier in the year, and that's no shocker here. Jonathan Isaac playing like 19-plus minutes in every game, including a season-high 25 last game, and suddenly they're just like nails defensively again. Like there's direct correlation to.
Yeah, they played him over Wendell Carter against Chicago in that game.
Yeah, I think we might be starting to see that a little bit more often. If you can get Isaac through 25 minutes and he's healthy, then look out. But I mean, you could play SGA. I do think there's going to be times where Jonathan Isaac in his 6'11", 7-foot frame is guarding SGA, and we'll see how that goes for him. But probably one of the only times I'm like a little about him. Obviously, there's a high ceiling, so if you want to get to him in tournaments, by all means. I'd rather play Booker, I think, at 97 in an elite matchup. I know Booker wasn't great in a few games, but then back-to-back 32 actual point games to get him back on track. Lillard, second leg of a back-to-back, banged up Miami team. No Butler, no Richardson. no Rozier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they're hurting obviously right now as well. So if you want to get to Dame on the second leg of a back-to-back, I assume he plays after missing some time with the ankle. We'll see. He was probable and then listed available on the front end. We'll see if they care to have him on the second end. But if he plays, he'd be fine as well. Simons, it's Minnesota. I know there's no Brogdon and stuff, and he's been scoring like he was earlier in the year, but one of those like if you end up there, like it's fine, but not my favorite play.
Right. Mid-tier point guards here. You have Cade Cunningham, who's had some pretty decent performances at $7,800. Bradley Beal had that 3-game stretch where he was paying off his price tag pretty handily there. Cam Thomas is 73. D'Angelo Russell in that range as well. Tyler Hero by himself against Milwaukee feels like a pretty good number there at $6,900.
Yeah, I would say that's probably Cade and Hero were probably the two names that stuck out to me the most. Cade gets the Lakers playing full capacity minutes, 39 and 35 in the 2 games that he's played recently. 47 fantasy points and a 20-point double-double last game. They've been more competitive pretty much every game. I mean, even in a game against the Clippers, they're competitive. So yeah. I like Cade, and I agree. I think Tyler Hero, him and Bam are going to – I mean, the Heat have a lot of really interesting value in general, right? Like price-wise, because they're priced as if Rozier and Butler are still around, and they're not. So, yeah, Tyler Hero 6,900 is one of the better per-dollar plays of the slate.
We did just get word Spencer Dinwiddie will be available to make his debut for the Lakers on Tuesday. So, again, I don't think he cuts into like too much playing time for D'Angelo Russell, but obviously that matters now, knowing that Dinwiddie will be available for that game.
I mean, I think him and Reeves, and there's just like it makes it easier to not play someone like Reddish or Christie, like when they're healthy, and now you just have more of a like 3-man shortened rotation, because that's what's going to happen in the postseason anyway, right? Like you're just shortened rotations. So I don't think the Dinwiddie news really cuts into Russell or Reeves. Also, just a weird, I don't know if you've heard the Dinwiddie quote, why he picked the Lakers, but it was super weird. As if people seemingly didn't like him already. It's only going to get worse from here.
What did he say?
He compared, I forget what the other team that he was considering going to. He compared it to, it was Dallas. It was between Dallas and he basically said like Dallas was your mom, where your mom was basically like, it's all right, buddy. Everything's okay. Just come on inside. And then the Lakers were your dad. And it was like, if you don't do this right this instant, whatever. It was just like, I mean, what are we? Why? Like, why are we doing that? Why is that the quote that you were practicing this whole time?
Yeah. That's hilarious to me. Celtics guards here against Brooklyn. Any interest? Drew Holiday, a couple of good games back to back.
Yeah, I mean, good at basketball. When he makes shots, there's a ceiling. The only problem is like, you actually have to scroll to see like multiple double-digit shot attempt games like in a row. I'm typically indifferent about Drew Holiday just based on his normal role. Like 6 to 9 shots, nice, seems to be like the everyday for Drew Holiday. And if he's not 5 for 6 from 3, I'm, I think there's a case for it. I'm just a little indifferent.
We got 3 point guards for Brooklyn on this slate. 4, I guess, technically. But Ben Simmons is 59, Schroeder 48, Dennis Smith Jr. 47. And then obviously Cameron Thomas was a bit more expensive there. Any interest in going against Boston? We've talked a lot about this lately. Games where we expect Boston to be in blowouts, they're actually being competitive. And therefore, we're getting full minutes out of both sides of these teams here. Any interest on the Brooklyn side of this matchup?
And Boston's obviously been significantly different as a team on the road versus being on home. I would say Schroeder's probably the guy I would have the most interest in. Jacques Vaughn was like, said he was going to limit Schroeder, and then ends up playing him 27 minutes, and he closed that game. And 15 points, 12 assist double-double. So it would probably be Schroeder, but also now that he has 4 point guards on his roster, that makes things even worse because it's Jacque Vaughn. Like Jacque Vaughn is one of the most unreliable coaches in the league. So, you know, I would say Schroeder would be the guy I would want to get to the most of that group, but it's not. It's still not like a comfortable situation.
Okay. And then what are we doing when it comes to Orlando here?
I mean, we kind of said it, like their minutes are just kind of capped at full strength. Cole Anthony was really good the other day. He played all the minutes. He hadn't played more than 20 in 5 consecutive games, right? Like it's 3,500 after coming off that game. I bet you Cole Anthony's like first run of ownership is pretty popular. Just given the price, I don't think we're used to seeing Cole Anthony at 3,500, and I'm not sure it'll ever happen again. But I just don't feel like it's necessarily a trustworthy spot. Especially with like Isaac entering the rotation, and especially with Gary Harris back, who Jamal Mosley likes playing as like a 3-and-D wing. Like it's just an uncomfortable situation overall.
Sure. Any other point guards for you?
Not that I see, no.
All right. Going on over to the shooting guard position here. Again, a lot of guys we've discussed. Anthony Edwards is $8,500. Jaylen Brown, $77. Mikal Bridges, $7,400. Rounds out the guys we have yet talked about.
Yeah, I mean, Edwards in a great spot. Second leg of a back-to-back. We'll see if Conley sits. He's been sitting the second legs of back-to-backs lately. So if there's no Conley, we'll see Point Ant more and more. I guess that's worth talking about real quick, right? If there's no
get an NAW or something.
Or Monty Morris probably is the backup, NAW as the starter, McLaughlin probably like fully out of the rotation. So Point Ant, if Conley sits on the second leg, Jaylen's fine. He's been very subpar from a fantasy perspective lately. So
getting the under 8K, obviously the price continues to
there's a ceiling. Good ceiling for Jaylen.
Yeah. Jaden Ivey, $6,700 been pretty good.
He has been good. And this, you know what's great, John? The minutes alongside Cade Cunningham, right? Like that's all we've been asking for. That's all you were screaming from the rooftops about all year long. Like, please give this man, please just give this man the run that he deserves. And
he was really good as a rookie, and then all of a sudden they just like played Killian Hayes over him to begin the year for whatever reason, right? Like, all of this is just to work our way down to your favorite player, which is Malik Monk. He's $5,800. He went for 41 fantasy points the other night against the Thunder. 50, 31, 41 the last 3, and the man's price tag is just not really moving all that much.
He's really good at basketball. You know, he's a free agent this year. He is going to get paid so much money this offseason from some team, and they're going to be really happy, and the Kings are going to be really sad when he decides to leave. So I love Malik. I love Malik Monk 58. I think he is a great tournament play. Not going to touch Giddey 57. Beasley 52. I think people would have to be out to like really feel comfortable about it, but he has been playing big minutes, has been taking a lot of shots. This was just the blowout where they won by 50. I don't know. 52 is fine. But I'd rather play like Duncan Robinson, 42. If Duncan Robinson plays, he played massive minutes. He got in that like scuffle with Jaylen, and Jaylen like pretty much called him out like for being dirty. And then said he won't do anything about it the next time he's around, which I found funny. But if Duncan Robinson plays, he's going to play at peak minutes. Like he played over Jaime Jaquez Jr. in that game. Rozier got hurt. There's no Butler. Like it's just Duncan Robinson.
We saw this version of Duncan Robinson earlier in the year, right? Where they forced him into big minutes, and when he was forced to take shots, and he had a run of 30, 40 fantasy point games.
Yeah, he was really good. He also, I'll never forget that stretch where he had this stretch right here: 42, negative 0.5, 45, 35 in a 4-game span. Like you want to talk about the highest like fluctuation of floor and ceiling right there. But yeah, 4,200 for Duncan Robinson would feel really good. He's probably I mean, there's no Royce O'Neal anymore, but like Dorian Finney-Smith is back too. I know. What's Day'Ron Sharp's back too. So Brooklyn is just like, dude, they're like 12 deep suddenly, where they were like 8 deep the other day. Ugh. I don't know if there's anything else. Quentin Grimes.
What was the result of Sasser 32-38, and then he plays 14 against the Clippers there?
That was the fun because Fontecchio
there.
Okay. Fontecchio played 32 off the bench.
Okay.
And he took 20 shots. I don't know if you saw it. I
definitely saw him making shots, but that was the correlation with Sasser losing.
Yeah, I mean they're also like just playing the guards all the minutes that they're playing, right? Like playing Ivy and Cade just all the minutes. Not a lot of room for anyone else.
Okay. No Cam Johnson on this one too. You mentioned no.
No Cam Johnson. That's true. Cam J's out. I forgot about that.
Small forward here. LeBron's 96, Tatum 95. Again, they have the dual positional eligibility. Jeremy Grant checking in with some dual positional eligibility, $7,800 as well. Franz 71 doing his thing. Some pretty solid names up there.
Yeah, I probably will walk back I may have some Portland interest depending on who's in and who's out for Minnesota. Because if there's no Conley, they've been like kind of lackadaisical in a lot of games. I mean, they lost that Towns 62-point game to Charlotte without Conley earlier in the year. So like, maybe I'd take back my Simons take, especially if Scoot misses another game, because I do have some interesting Grant at 78. He's been playing. I mean, dude, the minutes. He missed like a week, and they were like, "All right, Jeremy, you good? All right, you're good. All right, 45, 41 minutes. Welcome back."
Yeah, no Brogdon, right?
Dude, you think he likes, 49 actual points against Detroit? Are you freaking kidding me? And like the peripheral stats for a guy who doesn't ever get peripheral stats are great. Mm-hmm. So I would have some interest there. Not to skip over Tatum LeBron. Obviously, you could play either guy. It's, LeBron fake tag here. He plays like every night. He's been super good. Tatum, hey, guess what?
Franz has given us 48 in 3 of the last 4. And literally his price tag is 72, 71, 71, 72, 71.
Bro, this, like, I know, like, Paolo's the all-star, and Paolo was the number 1 pick, and Paolo is, like, going to get all the accolades, and, like, he's probably just as important. Like, this leap that he's taking is just as important to them being this good as Paolo's.
Yeah. Dude, remember how good he was before the injury? If he didn't get hurt, maybe he would have been an all-star.
Maybe, but like he also originally would have had to get in over Trey. He would have had to get into Jared Allen. He would have had to get in over Derek White. No thanks, not getting in over Derek White. Would have had to get over Porzingis. Do you think he would have got in over?
Well, all right. Think about it this way, right? I'm just gonna do some bad radio here for a moment, or live streaming for a moment. This is his stretch leading into his injury, right? And these are just fantasy points, but 47, 33, 55, 35, 55, 46, 39. Then he gets hurt. So, like he was, giving you 25 plus a night for 2 weeks, basically straight. And then he gets hurt. And that's not going over what he had leading into that. He had a stretch where he gave you 3 straight 30 plus actual scoring games. He had another 27 actual point game there. Like he was on fire during the month of December.
Sure.
And he gets hurt January 3rd, misses the entire month. Now he's just coming back. And now look what he's doing, basically end of January, beginning of February. So I don't know. If he didn't get hurt, he kept running like that for the full month of January. And you're looking at now at a 2+ month sample size in Orlando, maybe surging up the standings. I don't know. It could have been there.
That's fair. That's how you hey, you know what? When you're right, you're right. You raised up a good point. Franz to the All-Star game 2025.
Yeah, next year. Where are you with Asor Thompson at $4,900?
He's a good player. And he's starting. It seems like Monty's still a little hesitant to like fully unleash him, right? It's like high 20s minutes, even in a game.
They're starting Muscala still. I was like,
I assume the Muscala to the bench for Fontecchio happens sooner than later, because if you even quoted it saying that they called Fontecchio like a core piece of their future.
Yeah.
Like, and then he plays the minutes. He plays 32. He's played the final like 19 minutes of the game. I think Asor and Fontecchio right here, 49, 47, both firmly in play, because again, like That's what we're getting out of our debut. We didn't get that once in Utah. Like
Right.
29, 9 threes, 20 shots overall. I would be okay getting to either Soar and Fontecchio both.
Yeah, I'm Fontecchio for sure at $4,700 there. Would you play anybody else in this like value small forward tier?
Maybe Jaquez, 45.
Go
He
back to
started.
there.
He started for Butler. Like obviously he had a bad game, no doubt. Terrible game. Let me down. I played him on. I had a really good lineup on that 2-game slate. He was in it, and he let me down big time. But did play 29 minutes regardless. So like he seems like if he's playing well, there's obviously a higher ceiling than that. I played Lou Dort against my own will the other day. It's just how the salary worked out. I got lucky with the Lou Dort game. If you want a really low floor and a really high ceiling, you can play Lou Dort if you want.
Does Jalen Wilson keep playing minutes?
I doubt it. Like not to like. They're just
because there's no Cam J. Obviously, they're getting Dorian Finney-Smith back, but they don't have Royce O'Neal anymore.
So I'm curious how it happens because they're also getting Day'Ron Sharpe back. Okay. They're also getting Lonnie Walker back. They have Finney-Smith, and they have the Simmons factor. Like Simmons had been staggering with Claxton, and Simmons also fully staggered with Schroeder. How do they handle like the minutes distribution now with like Sharpe back? Is he now just plugged into the backup center? And now does Simmons move like play more like wing role? Like I think there's like he's good. He played 40 and 30
the
minutes
have been there. So I think that's why I kind of mentioned it. Obviously another guy with some big minutes lately has been Hachimura at 47.
Yeah, and he had that monster game against the Pelicans. I mean, yeah, if he's going to start and play that give us that run.
You saw the floor against Denver where he plays 38 minutes and he has 8 fantasy points, but then he gave you a ceiling game the next game where playing all the minutes and hitting the shot. So
yeah.
Let's run over to point power forward. Giannis here on the back-to-back. Durant at 98. Obviously Tatum and LeBron are there as your top 4. You can play any of them. No one's going to sit here and tell you otherwise. Banchero, though, at $8,200 against the Thunder. You think you get some competitive games back and forth here? Does any sort of defensive matchups against Banchero? Where are you here? Or, this price feels too damn good. And, dude, these assist numbers just keep running.
Yeah, the assist numbers keep running. The shot attempts are a little, with a fully healthy team. Again, last 2 games, 13, 12 shots. Especially last game, 43 minutes, 13 shots. I know he took 8 free throws and stuff, but Cole Anthony in that lineup taking a lot of shots. I'm okay with it. OKC's a good defensive team. That's Jalen Williams' assignment probably. So maybe Dort. Well, probably a little bit of both in that one. Towns at 8K, obviously a pretty good play. He's kind of been up and down lately. He had a really good game against Chicago, really bad game against Milwaukee. We'll see what happens on Monday, but I'm okay with getting to either Paolo or Towns here at 8K.
Yeah, for sure. Jalen Williams broke out of his funk, had a huge game the other night. I saw him in your lineup. Obviously a tough spot in Orlando, but 7K is a good price tag for him there. Is Boston on front leg here? Do we know?
We will.
Let's see. I thought I saw something on Porzingis being like
questionable. He is questionable. They are on.
It's a
monster Wednesday slate.
Yeah, they play the Nets both days.
Play the Nets both days. Okay.
First game in Brooklyn, second game in Boston. So be on the lookout for that because either Zinger sits and Al Horford is sitting here at $5,200, or Al Horford gets ruled out and we know where we go in the Celtics rotation in that case.
And it seems Porzingis is the guy showing up on the injury part right now. So like he's questionable. There's a back injury that he returned from. He actually did leave in that game. I forgot. So most likely if it's Porzingis sits in the front end and Horford sits in the back end.
Yeah, so Horford at 52 is pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. He's been a monster, and anytime he's been extended, 49 fantasy points, $5,100. Mm-hmm. Hey, look, 5,200.
Yeah. So I don't blame them for not moving Horford's price around because generally he's just
of course.
Yeah. Caleb Martin, 5K, gonna obviously play some minutes there. We talked Fontecchio. DFS is gonna see some big minutes. Anybody else at power forward for you?
Always the Nas reach out in tournaments.
Okay.
He's on another good run. Double-digit scoring in 3 straight, 20-plus fantasy points in 3 straight, 26 in 2 of the 3. So you can always get some Nas in your life. Trey Lyles played another 24 minutes, just didn't make any shots, but he has been really good in the games prior. He's only 4K. They're back to that, like, not playing Herter, not playing Harry B thing, and playing Lyles and Malik Monk again because they've been better. So if you want to play either of those guys, I mean, what do we do here? Is this what we're gonna get? Do we get that?
I mean, at 3,400, I had the same thing. If we're gonna get, I mean, we were cool playing it with 20 minutes. The problem had just been taking 2 shots, right? So
yes,
would like to see him be a bit more offensive. We know what he can do. Everything else, right? We know he can block shots and get steals and grab rebounds and all those things. But if he's gonna start shooting more, then let's go. And he used to shoot from range a little bit more. He's just starting to test the 3-point waters out there a little bit, but. Hard not to play Jonathan Isaac at 3,400. He matches up with Chet size-wise fairly well. I don't know if at this point in his career, he's going to be able to handle Chet. But maybe. I mean, the dude is uber talented.
Dude, so. I think you also have to remember, you're saying at this point in his career.
Well, he's missed a lot of time.
He's only 26.
I know, but he's missed like 4 years, it feels like.
Dude.
He hasn't played since the bubble.
That is fair. They did an interview with Paolo, and Paolo is basically just like, I'm more surprised when he said JI, or I think he said JI. So shout out to you. It doesn't lock someone down as opposed to when they score on him. Like they're fully all in on Isaac again. Like
dude, we talked about it during the San Antonio matchup where they took Wendell Carter off the floor and had Isaac guarding Wemby. So
I think he looks, because he was in the Bulls game, he was guarding DeRozan late down in that overtime, and then they didn't let Bulls didn't score in overtime. They scored like 2 points. So if that's what we can get, because it's been 18+ minutes in 5 of the last 6 games. If that's what we can get, then consider me at least interested at 30, as long as the price stays at 3,400.
Sure, I agree with you. All right, let's move over to center and close this show out here. Anthony Davis is 10-1. Sabonis is 10K. Bam at 8,300 against Milwaukee. Those are your top 3 price plays there. Sabonis and Bam by himself obviously is appealing. Anthony Davis against Detroit, smash play for him as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's a necessarily wrong answer. AD had 3 fouls in the first quarter against the Pelicans, and then didn't need to play the fourth quarter. So he just had a terrible time that whole game. Still ended up with 40 fantasy points. So, that is what it is. Sabonis has been just on a different planet, and has the Phoenix matchup where, he's also been on a different planet the entire year. So if you want to get to Sabonis, by all means. I'm hard-pressed not to play Bam at 8,300. I think that's your best point per dollar center. Bam Adebayo, $8,300, team to himself. Him and Rosie or Hero, like it was earlier in the year when Butler wasn't playing. When Rozier
went for 31, 10 and 5 against them in the first meeting there. So
dude, he's just been like we were giving Bam so much credit earlier in the year, like, yo, this looks like a different Bam. When there was and now he has that team to himself again. So Bam, I think per dollar is the best center on the board for me.
I know the matchup is obviously different than what it's been, but have you seen what Jalen Duren has been doing lately?
Yeah,
looking a lot like the guy that began the year.
Yeah, dude, they've been,
and those rebounds are going to be available when Mike Muscala is playing next to you, and not so. I'm just there.
What's the one thing with Jalen Duren?
Fouls.
Here.
Yeah, fouls.
And now he has AD. So, like, if he's staying out of foul trouble, then yeah, great. I mean, he didn't foul out against Sabonis. Had 20, 15, and 6. DeAndre Ayton's pretty good offensive player. 27 and 22. Clippers, attack. Score. double, 18 rebounds. So like, yeah, there's viability to Jalen Duren. I'm all in. It's a big pace.
When this season started, we thought he was going to be like the breakout player of the year.
Yeah, I mean, he was the first 5 games of slate. I remember like game 5, he was like 7,500. We're like, yeah, sure. And then he got hurt. And then everything fell apart and our souls were crushed. But yeah, $7,100 for Jalen Duren is not too cheap.
No, I would agree with you there as well. Where are we going after that? I mean, obviously the center position does drop off a lot. Is there any other centers that you're kind of keying in on here?
Not really. I mean, Horford 52.
Yeah,
we talked about. Like, I don't think there's anything.
Isaac has the eligibility as well. So
yeah, Isaac has the eligibility. Naz Reid has the eligibility. Trey Lyles has the eligibility. I don't.
Would
think
you give Luke Cornett a dart throw if Porzingis is out?
Yes, because there's still no Tillman, right? That's indefinite until after the break.
Yeah,
they get Tillman back, so. Yeah, he'll play his 14 to 16 minutes, right? And I was thinking like maybe K-Love gets extended here. Just no Butler, no Richardson, no Rozier. Maybe they like elect to go.
No Highsmith.
No Highsmith. Like maybe they. No, I think Highsmith's playing.
Oh, is he back? Okay.
Yeah, he's back. He played like 23 minutes against Boston. He was. What he is, absolute low floor, no ceiling. Look at this. Look at the fantasy. I mean, he's 11 fantasy points in 6 games. But just I think they could use like the scoring from Kevin Love is what I was thinking, and we saw it. They started the year, bam, Kevin Love in their front court, and then they were like, nah, actually, you can't play more than whatever unless we like absolutely need you to. So maybe this is a situation where they extend Caleb a little bit, but.
Sure. All right, let's build a lineup here and see what we can put together. What are we feeling to start things off here, James?
Bam.
You want to go Bam? Yeah. You want to go?
Yeah, Bam Hero.
I say you want to do Horford as well, Isaac.
Bam Hero Horford.
Yeah, and then Isaac at the forward. See where that puts us at. Horford, Bam, Isaac. That gives us 65-50 to play it out here.
Like Monk?
See. Yeah, Monk for sure. That's good play. 58.
We could definitely play Franz. I was gonna say we can go Tatum.
Okay.
Or I guess it depends on how you want to approach the spend up, because like I really like a Piston or a Lake, like that matchup Pistons Lakers is, what's the total in that game? 237. The Sacramento Phoenix game 240.
I mean, Ivy's 67. I'm fine going Ivy here.
Ivy or Fontecchio Asor at forward.
I mean, it could play Fontecchio and Ivy. I'm happy to do both.
Yeah. Okay.
And that would give us a 9K util.
9K util.
Can do whatever we want. The world is our oyster. Dame against my Anthony Edwards, Banchero.
Ooh, Ant maybe against
Portland. 25.
Yeah, Fox.
Give us $1,000 to play around with if we wanted to.
We're 100 off Cade. Sad.
Are we?
Yeah, sad.
We don't need. What was Horford? 62.
We could play Asor and do a little Detroit. Do a Detroit stack.
Would you rather Asor or Horford? Or could you? Cody Martin or Caleb Martin's 5K.
Yeah, Caleb Martin. I was thinking Duncan Robinson, potentially too. 42.
Yeah, 92 still doesn't really get us anything different there.
Well, unless we went back here, that'll get us to 10K. That gets us Sabonis, Durant, Booker.
Sure, I like it.
Go back to Jaden Ivey there.
Yeah.
Which Sabonis, Durant, Booker. Sabonis
has the triple.
So leads the league in triple doubles.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah, he's I think he's number 2 in rebounds per attempt per chances per game, or number 1 in rebound chances per game.
He's one in rebounds per game. I think he's number 2 in
chances per game. And then he last I looked when I wrote him up, he was also top 10 in assist chances per game as well.
Yes, he is.
So like just a freak. So,
and he's two up on Jokic by 2 triple doubles after triple doubling to take the lead against Jokic, and Jokic not triple doubling.
Yeah. So there's an example lineup for everybody. Got Hero, Monk, Fontecchio, Isaac, Adebayo, Ivy, Duncan Robinson, and Domantas Sabonis. Getting you all ready for this Tuesday 6-game main slate. James, any final words before we get out of here?
No, nothing.
All righty, everybody. Good luck with your lineup builds, and we'll catch you all later.